A law designed to close the gap in Michigan's Amber Alert system, moving forward after families sharing the tragic story of a child who fell through that gap. 6-year-old Rowan Morey was killed in 2024 after his family says they struggled to get an alert issued when he did not return home. His mom, Brandy Morey Poles, turned that loss into a mission, working with lawmakers to change how missing and endangered children are found. Today, the Rowan Act making big step here in legislation, expanding when an Amber Alert can be issued in Michigan. Joining us now, the mother of Rowan Morey, Brandon Morey Poles, Heidi Breton with the Rowan Project, and State Representative Angela Regas, who's helped lead this effort. Ladies, thank you for joining us here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, well, let's start with I would say the breaking news of today. The governor signing off this legislation, the Rowan Act. I mean, I know Angela, you and another state rep leading this effort. What does it mean for you right now to know that it has made it, it has been signed?
It's a very emotional day. This legislation, I didn't know when I came to Lansing that this would be one of my priority, right, is closing this gaping hole in this Amber Alert system. And as a resident of Caledonia, my constituent here, Brandy, following the local news of this child and what had happened, I had reached out to Brandy and I just said, how can we help? And that was how the Rowan Act became. But it was a challenge, obviously, in split government. Yeah. It was an exhausting challenge, and to see that the governor signed it today, it's bittersweet.
I can understand, and Brandy, I'm seeing and feeling the emotion here in this space. I can't imagine what the last few years have been like for you, and for those that are watching who haven't heard your story, Rowan's story. Tell us, share with us who he is and how this moment right here, what you're feeling, describe to us.
I'm really happy where we're at today, but it hurts. It's a heartache because it took Rowan's life to move this and make this legislation. And, there are days that I couldn't get up and do anything, but then I would wake up and another child would be lost from filicide. So I pushed hard, and that's when Heidi and I started the Rowan Project. And Angela reached out in early days after losing Rowan, and they have been a huge help in my grief journey.
I can only imagine, again. Explain to folks that don't understand, we're looking at a beautiful picture of Rowan here. How did Rowan fall through, and how are other children falling through the cracks?
So in the state of Michigan, special needs children, runaways, and custodial kidnappings do not meet the standards for an Amber Alert. And that is something that most people did not know. And we questioned that immediately. Why was an Amber Alert issued? And then finding out these details, that's when Representative Nyer and I decided to make that change, because all children in danger deserve to have that Amber Alert issued. And then Jerry Nyer's bill also puts the Amber Alerts, updates that, and puts them on social media, because that's where everyone is. We're on our phones constantly. And so to get that alert on a phone, geofenced, of course. So we believe that will really bring the Amber Alert into, 2026, right?
Yeah.
And that update was so needed. Nothing had been changed to the Amber Alert since its inception. So these updates were critical to help save children like Rowan.
I mean, talk about critical. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist here to understand the importance of this. I mean, and for it to just now, to make it to this step, I know you're a part of the project here. Talk to us about what the project has been doing, the progress made, how many children you all have helped.
17 and counting.
Wow.
We've helped 17 children out of abusive homes, and they're safe now.
In less than a year. We've not been up and running since September of last year.
Yeah.
Wow. So a year's time making progress, over a dozen, 17 children being helped. And a lot of folks don't understand. I mean, even at Rowan's age, children younger, older are experiencing this daily. Talk to us about the stats maybe in Michigan, West Michigan, on what we're facing.
An epidemic. Filicide is the biggest silent epidemic facing our nation, and no one's talking about it but us. Our organization is the only thing out there bringing this to light. The statistics say it's like 500 to 600 children a year. It's nowhere near that. It's way worse. So I created Rowan's Promise. It's a filicide tracker that'll work in time, like right as it's happening, in real time, excuse me. And U of M is picking it up. So we can take those numbers and the research we can do, the lives we can save. We're getting there, and we have 2 more legislative bills that we're working on right now. I'm not stopping until every gap in the system that failed Rowan is fixed.
I love it. And just to hear the progress and hear that just that lioness in you roar, I could hear it there because, I mean, within a year's time, you all have made that progress and process, right? Angela, State Rep, you all have just made phenomenal progress. I mean, that has to feel absolutely amazing, not making this change just here in Caledonia, West Michigan, across the state, right?
And this last year, it felt like 5 years, did it not?
It so
did. Not? Just maneuvering the challenges, right? Obviously, when you're putting, more things on the backs of Michigan State Police, we needed to work with Michigan State Police to make sure that they approved of these changes, really taking it out of the hands of the judge to decide if that order could be signed. And, when you're dealing with a custodial kidnapping, there's already a custodial order signed by the judge. This is a redundant step that takes time, critical time away from actually launching that investigation and deciding if we're going to push that button to issue the Amber Alert. That's the step that is so critical that we did in this bill, is to give it to the Michigan State Police. They're the ones on the front lines. They're the ones that are seeing these things. And to have an order denied, especially in this case, when there was a CPS case that had been closed, that's another failure that we're addressing at the state level. To have a criminal record, drug abuse, all of these things were documented in this case. And that judge chose to deny that order, which could have saved Rowan's life. We're removing that step. We're bringing it right to the state police. That is their expertise to get that going. It was the process, and this is my first public act signed by the governor. And it feels amazing to know that this piece of legislation is so critical, is a critical need, and can help children moving forward in the state of Michigan. And with the custodial kidnappings, the parent, the mom, like she was told this is a civil matter. That's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Issue the alert, bring that child home. Bring that child home.
Every child deserves to come home.
Right.
Just great news today. Phenomenal news today. Yeah. Brandy, and I can, again, only imagine the feels and what you're feeling right now. But for families that might be watching at home, what can you say to them now? Just being in this process, there's still more work to be done. But what can you tell them right now?
My healing is in my work and carrying on his life, his legacy. He's going to save lives. He already has. And God made me Rowan's mom for a reason, to do all this stuff. It's tough, don't get me wrong. I sat with it all day yesterday knowing today was coming, and this is what we had hoped for from the beginning, and she has walked along with me in this, and let me tell you, learning politics this way is so hard. It's not easy. It's messy.
In this time especially.
It is, but I think this is history in the making. Today, Michigan made history, and I'm really proud my little boy helped do that.
Brandy, thank you so much for sharing. Really quickly, State Rep Angela, what's next now that the signature, Big Gretch has signed it? What's next?
Big Gretch.
I had to.
I didn't see that.
Well, we're looking at all the other failures that occurred that led to this tragedy. So I am the vice chair of Oversight for Child Welfare, and for the past 2 years, we have seen cases over and over and over again, the worst of the worst cases, critical failures at the CPS, within CPS. So within the MDHHS, we had Elizabeth Hertel. She had resigned in July. Her leadership has led to a lot of the tragedies and a lot of the failures that we've seen in Michigan. So looking forward, in oversight, it's not the typical oversight. Under Speaker Hall's leadership, oversight has transitioned into identifying the failure, having, hearing the testimony, and then crafting meaningful legislation that can close any of those gaps. So that's where we're working. We're focused on changes needed to the CPS.
Okay.
So
lots of work to be done, but
yes.
a big break today for
Very
Rowan
much
Act.
so.
Heidi, Brandy, Angela, thank you so much. That's all the time we have
Thank
for
you.
now. But
Thank
folks,
you.
Thank you.
Be sure to follow on what's to come, and we appreciate you for
Thank
joining
you.
us today.
And we have an Angel Cup on August 31st. It's a golf outing to support our the Rowan project. So.
Okay, and we'll definitely have all that information at 13onyourside.com.
Oh, good.
We're going to toss it over to you, Amber, for a look at the forecast.